So in this little video, I'm going to talk through how you can master any skill for your e-commerce business. The most common thing I see when I talk to e-commerce brand founders, before they enter our paid community, our Ecom Blueprint community, or my up-level mastermind program where we help e-com brands scale to their first 10, 20K a month, all up to 100K per month, is they're not proficient at something, right? They understand, they obviously have been thrown into an environment where they have to be proficient and learn a lot about a lot and wear all the hats within their business, but they really limit themselves inside their own minds, if I'm completely honest. And I don't want to get too woo-woo with this particular video, and I want to give you a really practical understanding of how to actually master any skill within your e-commerce business. Okay, so let me tell you that the typical person, when they create an e-commerce business and they start an e-commerce business, not for everyone, but this is the typical 80-20 of what I see with people who join our program and the people I speak with. They're really passionate about their product, okay? They may manufacture it themselves. They've certainly designed it or curated it themselves, and they feel really strongly about their products, and they can talk all day long about their products and how great their product is in terms of quality and how it improves people's lives. Amazing. I love that's how it has to start. It starts with, passion and excitement for what you actually do. And that was the same with me with my cold pressed juice company that I started with my brother in 2013. Right, we had corporate jobs and we were into health. Like I played Australian rules football. My brother did too. Then Sam got into cycling and things and started to experiment with detoxes and cleansers and stuff like that. And cold pressed juice was new at the time in Australia. And he started doing his own cold pressed juice cleansing, right? And so that was how the business was actually created, because it was such a pain to do the production and there's so many inputs and it took so much time that we said to ourselves, well, surely there's other people like us that don't want to do it themselves in terms of the production, but they want to drink the juice. And that's how the business was created. It's called scratching your own itch. Now, not every e-commerce brand is like that in terms of the inputs and the mechanics that go behind a brand, but typically you're interested in what you're selling. Let me just say that. And as I said before, can talk all day long about it and why it's superior to any other product on the market. That's just tick number one. If you weren't interested in it, you're probably not going to be in it for very long. But with that passion and with that interest comes selling of it. Right. And when it comes to online, actually, let me take a step back. We can all do that with in-person. So again, the small majority of people that do in-person events, again, we did that with Karmic and we learned a lot doing, site activations and yoga studios. And we didn't necessarily do markets as such, but we definitely helped out friends and met people through all these events that we could expose ourselves to more people through cafes and stuff like that. Okay. So in person, you can sell like 9 times out of 10, probably 10 out of 10, because you're actually speaking with somebody, because you are making eye contact with someone, forming relationship, building rapport, answering questions that they have and gaining information, and you're able to steer them in the direction of convincing them to sell them, okay? It's starkly different to selling online where there's no relationship, there's no eye contact, there's no rapport, there's no trust, right? They don't know that this thing's real. Okay, and so when people come to selling skills, right, we're talking about skill building here, they kind of take for granted that my thing will just sell. If I put it on there, I'll just be able to sell it. And then by the time they're talking to myself, they're like, why can't I sell my thing, right? I'm trustworthy. I have a site that's active. I have an Instagram page. Why aren't people buying from me? And it's about skill building, understanding the industry, understanding how marketing works, but skill building as well. Okay. And so that's the skill that they lack the most. They got the passion, they've got the skills when it comes to their product because they've done what I'm going to actually talk about, but they don't have the skills in other areas. And therefore they get really shy, lack confidence, or overwhelmed and just make no progress. They're stagnated or even, declining if they're at a certain level and dropping down. Okay. So let me just explain exactly how you can master any skill. And this is exactly what you need to do. And it's as straightforward as it sounds. And I've done it. People I teach have done it and do it all the time. And it's something that you can do as well. So I just want to share this with you. It takes 20 hours to become proficient at any skill. Okay? 20 hours. If you want to be proficient at accounting using Xero or MYOB, if you want to be proficient at meta ads and scaling that and optimizing that and looking at what that looks like, if you want to be proficient at honestly producing another product or designing another product or using Canva, it takes 20 hours to become proficient. Now, here's the problem that most people face. They spend weeks, months, sometimes even years accumulating those 20 hours because they just avoid it. They avoid it. They avoid it. They avoid it. Whereas if they condensed those 20 hours into, well, theoretically a day, that's possible, right? But say a couple of days or even 1 week, they would be immediately proficient at it. They would have 10x the confidence, 10x the skills, 10x the knowledge, and therefore be able to make, honestly, 10x the progress because of the speed at which they have learnt that skill. Think about when you built your site. Think about when you did launch your first meta ad. Think about when you did send your first email, right? It was scary. It was daunting at the beginning. But as you immersed yourself in the platform, in the activity, in the skill, you were able to gain confidence. You knew which button to click, which one not to click. You knew there was no self-destruct button and it wasn't just going to blow up on you, right? You get what I'm saying here. And so if there's something right now, and I'm talking very specifically about in a marketing sense, meta ads, immerse yourself. Influencer marketing, immerse yourself. Creating content, immerse yourself. Clock up those 20 hours and you will be a different person with a different level of confidence. Okay? 20 hours doesn't sound like that much, but it actually is quite a lot of time in the game. I can just relate this to recent experience. I know I needed to create a new online training for my community, okay? It was time to update it. I do it every sort of year, 18 months, and I knew I had to get into it. I was avoiding it. It's like, I haven't figured out this platform myself. I haven't mastered this skill myself. And I recalled exactly what I'm talking about here, but it was self-talk, and said, you just have to spend time in the game. You just have to get those 20 hours, do those 20 hours of self-development, research, testing, playing around, breaking things, to then be proficient at it and really skilled at it, to then be able to teach other people with it. That's honestly all there is to it. It's time in the game. And I can promise you it will actually happen faster. Like, I think 20 hours to be proficient at something is quite a long period of time. But you could halve that and say, if I spent 10 hours on this, like 2 full working days, let's call it, even 16 hours, you would not know yourself, right? You would have, your skills would be so proficient by then. You'd have so much confidence that you wouldn't literally know yourself, okay? So that's my message of this video, is if you are afraid or lacking confidence in a certain skill that you know you need to master, as I say, even if it's something as boring and simple as accounting. I did the same thing when I was trying to figure out Xero. I had to upskill. I knew I had to learn this to be in control of my numbers. And then you do. And then it's easy. And then you can move on to the next thing that you know you need to nail, and you just keep knocking on these doors and spending the time that's required. But as I said it right in the beginning here, the problem is that people use the avoidant tactics. They go to the path of least resistance. They look for the next shiny object and they spend an hour or two there, an hour or two on YouTube just figuring out this little thing and then trying to figure this out, and then like, it doesn't work, it's too hard. Next barrier, next thing, next barrier, next thing, next barrier, next thing. And they never truly figure it out. And that's why they're stuck. It's about the little amount of things, or the highest optimized things, highest leverage things, the least amount of things that you can do to grow your business, not more crazy things that you can strap on to a dysfunctional business. Right? So more and more and more, I'm talking about this with my community and on my videos like this and my content, is less is certainly more, right? Simplicity in a business scales, complexity will fail. So if you find yourself, and as I say, a few people have this realization as I'm talking through this, that you're avoiding things. You know you need to master a skill. You know you need to do this. We all deep down need to. And again, a lot of the people that join my program, of course, we teach them skills. They learn skills. They know exactly how to do everything. It's very easy for them, right? But sometimes it's just about having the confidence or hearing that reaffirmation that you know you need to upskill on that. They're like, yeah, I know. You know you need to send more emails. Yeah, I know, right? But as human beings, more so we need to be reminded than taught. Okay. When we need to be taught, we need to spend the time to upskill, And the other half of the time, spend the time doing the thing that you know you need to be doing, not avoiding it and not looking for that next shiny object. Okay. So that's what I wanted to talk through today. If there's skills that you want to learn, first and foremost, that you know you need to learn or you know you need to get better at, 20 hours. And if it makes you feel good, track those hours. I used to do that back in high school when I was studying, just to give myself confidence and validation that the work had been done. You're good at this. You got this. You're way better than where you were yesterday, the day before, last month, right? And it gives you so much confidence to start something from scratch, master it, and then see an immediate result or even a delayed result after the work that you've done. Okay, so I want to encourage you that you can learn absolutely anything. You got to this point if you started your business, right? You learned the skill of the production, or you learned how to use a cold press juicer and create a program for someone in my example, right? You learned how to do logistics. You learned everything from day dot. So you should have confidence that you can do that with any skill that's absolutely necessary to succeed with your e-commerce business. Okay. So I hope this was valuable for you. I know I have to keep reminding myself of this, and people in my paid community appreciate this sort of pep talk, I guess you could say as well. So I hope that skill was useful for you and gives you confidence moving forward. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching till the end here. If you like this, please give it a like, please give it a subscribe. I'd love to have you in my audience and sharing more gems of just my experience and the value that I give to people in my paid communities as well. So if you want to know more about what we do, there's a link below. You can click on that if you want to. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.